That one went off by surprise, and not a good surprise. I am shooting at 62 yards today. Gonna do 10 ends, 3 arrows per end. This is the second round that I've done since getting back to it after hunting season. First round, didn't even finish. Didn't do great, just was kind of an off day. But, you know, getting back into the swing of things. When you're doing a lot of hunting and just life happens, I haven't been able to shoot a ton. So now I'm just kind of slowly starting to ramp up. Still have my field points on. Think I know exactly where it's at as far as 62 yards go, but we're just gonna shoot an arrow or two and see where it's landing today. Get it doped in. We're gonna set it right to 64. I haven't shot at all yet since 3 days ago, 4 days ago. I guess I did do some blank bailing yesterday just to stay relevant, stay consistent. Normally I do a lot of blank bailing. Normally I shoot at least every other day, if not every day. It's the time of the year where I'm kind of letting myself, you know, relax a little bit, not worry so much about having a good regimented schedule of shooting. Getting back into trying to run, lift a lot, and gonna start ramping up the shooting a lot here. And I'm kind of getting excited to do some indoor this year. And I think I'm gonna do some videos of weekly indoor scores. So I think that'll be kind of fun. Hate when I have a stocking cap on. I always anchor right behind my ear and it interrupts it. All right, not feeling too comfortable with those first couple of shots. Felt good about that one. Just got to get those 2 rusty shots out of the way. Third shot felt good. So 2 arrows weren't terrible. 1 arrow it dropped and went off a little prematurely. Not feeling fantastic, but yeah, we'll see how it goes. Really, I should probably move in and shoot at 40 yards or 30 yards today. But I'm just gonna go for it at 60. I think I'm gonna take off my quiver. I haven't been shooting at all with my quiver off, so that might mess with my balance a little bit. We'll see. We'll just adjust on the fly. Same with the distance. Just adjust it. Who cares? I am going to keep score, and I'm going to get 10 ends in here, but I'm honestly not too worried about my score in general. Just going to have fun. Shooting at 62 is fun. But yeah, I'm actually kind of excited to shoot with my quiver off. It's been a few months of having that thing on. It's going to feel kind of weird with this first arrow. The balance is going to be off. Does feel more stable though. I feel like I can hold it a lot more stable. Not sure where that hit. Didn't feel terrible, but it did feel like it broke a little bit off center. Maybe high into the right is where it felt like it broke, but I'm not sure. Man, that feels good without that extra weight on though. I put my thicker ring on for the Fast Eddy, and it's just a little too big, and I'm not used to it. I don't like it. But on the medium ring, there's too much daylight around the peep and the ring. So I think I need to get a different peep, a smaller peep, so it fits just perfectly. That felt like a good shot. I liked that one. Okay, end one down. Let's go see how it's looking. Not a great first end. I think I'm gonna give it another yard. Cause yeah, I'm not shooting. Didn't feel fantastic, but I don't feel like those should have released that low. We're just gonna start with a yard and see how it goes. So it is a lot colder out, so that's another variable kind of in the shooting. Been a long time since I've shot with layers on. I'm still messing with my stance. When I was shooting in my garage the other day, it felt perfect, but now I can't remember exactly how I had it. Now let's remember this frickin' stocking cap. Felt like it dipped a little bit. I just need to start shooting more. That's what I need to do. Get my rhythm back. Yeah, it was a little low. That felt like it broke pretty well in the center. I felt like I was actually letting it float around the middle. In the red, but I'm happy with that shot. Just focusing on my process through these 10 ends. 30 arrows. Voice is going out. That was a low one as well. That one didn't feel like it was that low. So that has me thinking, I wonder if I should put it up another yard. I think we are, and then we're just gonna see what happens. If I start shooting really high, then I know it's too much. Right now I'm kind of on the edge of it being me. I think it's probably me. But that one just didn't feel low, but I don't know. End 3 right here. So it's 62 yards, and I got it at 65. Got it at 66, and I think that's about right. Because I think I was doing about 64 at 60 yards. So I probably should have done that sooner, because I kind of forgot that I was shooting at 62, not 60. It's a good, likely excuse. One thing I've been thinking about is switching up my anchor. Because I think I actually don't have a good anchor. Because my anchor is right up nestled in my ear. And then when I go and I put my finger on, and I can't do it when I'm not anchored up, but it actually starts floating and it comes away, so I'm actually not even anchored at all. And I think that's probably a pretty standard thing to not do when learning, now that I've got a little more experience. So that's something I'm going to think about switching up this off season and seeing if I can be quite a bit more consistent with doing that. See, it didn't like totally come off my face there, but it kind of feels like it. Round 3. Feel pretty good about those. They're surrounding the circle. Got my sight tape doped in. Shots are feeling a little more comfortable. Think I still have a little bit of work to do with taming my float. Seems like it's jumping around a little more than it usually does for me. I've been working on pushing more to steady my shot as I'm pulling through. I think that's actually kind of increased my pin float. But it's probably one of those things where you get worse until you get better. So, something I'm going to continue to play around with. I feel like that shot was better without doing as much pushing, so maybe I just need to do a little pushing as I get comfortable with it. Increase that tension. That felt like a money shot there. I wouldn't be surprised if that was a 10 or 11. But watch, I'll walk up there and it's a white. Clear off the board. At least I'm not hitting any branches today. That one was floating around a decent amount, not too bad. And it felt like it broke right where I wanted it. Almost in the middle. I don't know, let's go check it out. That was end 4. All right, I'm liking that grouping a little more now. We'll take that. Starting to feel a little more comfortable getting it back. So we had that 1 and 11. I don't know which arrow was which yet. I'm interested to see if the arrow that I called was that 11. If it was, then heck yeah. It's always good when you can kind of, after the shot breaks, you can predict where it was hitting. I feel like that's kind of a good barometer of knowing how you're shooting and how you're releasing. And a lot of it just comes down to the float. your whole shot process could be exactly the same as the next one, but it just broke in a different spot, so it ended up in a different spot. In my limited amateurish experience, anyways. Round 5, end 5, question mark. But noticing my drawback has been a little slower than usual. I like pulling slow and controlled through the shot. It kind of shows that whatever poundage, if you can pull it slow and controlled back, I believe it kind of shows that you're not pulling too heavy. If you gotta like jerk it back and go, I think it is better. It's better leverage to slightly pull down and pull back. I don't think it's bad to do that, but if you have it perfectly level and slowly pull it back, then it shows that you're not overbowed at all. But what do I know? Ooh. That one went off by surprise, and not a good surprise. One thing I do need to get better at is I feel like I find myself just letting it settle off, and I just let it, like, I feel kind of off and it's settling off the target, and I'm not pulling through, or I already told myself to pull through, but I'm not yet. And then I get centered, and then I start pulling through. But sometimes it ends up going off when I'm not centered perfectly and anchored perfectly and having it float on the spot that I want to hit. And I think part of that is that's when you're looking at your peep, not the spot you want to hit. And I always feel like I do so much better when I know that I'm looking at the spot I want to hit, not looking at the peep. Just look at that spot and just think about the spot. I just need to remember that. I think that's a lesson for today. And 5. Oh yeah, I feel good about that 11 sliding right in there. I'm not sure which arrow. I wonder which arrow was the arrow that I feel like I released off. It just didn't feel like a good shot. But I'm not mad at the results, especially on those 2 arrows. Wouldn't be surprised if it was that one that was to the off in the blue. I need to burn a hole with my eye in the middle of that target. Yeah, so I'm still gonna do some deer hunting. And right now I wish I had, I think it's called the Booney Spot Hog. I think someone mentioned that to me on one of my last videos a while back. But I was really interested in that sight because it's got the removable sight tapes. I could have one sight tape on and just swap sight tapes out. But right now, the only difference, I mean, it's kind of, God, when you're thinking about stuff like that, you can kind of like give yourself a headache thinking about it. So my broadheads hit higher than my field points. It seems like it's consistent through the whole range of the sight tape, so it seems like I could use the same sight tape. But if they're hitting higher, you'd think that it would have to vary a little bit through the end of it, through the whole range. I don't know. Something else to think about. Riddle me that. But anyways, so my thoughts were if I could have 2 sight tapes on here, I could have one set for the field point right now and one set for the broadheads and not have to adjust for it. I know the, I can't remember the name of the brand, but the Canyon Pounder, that one was really interesting, how you could flip it out. You got like the fixed pins, and then you've got the slider pin. Yeah, I think on my next range day, I might move into 40 and start kind of scoring myself at 40 yards. Just kind of see how close of a grouping I can get over 30 arrows, how consistent I can be at 40. Switch it up a little bit, maybe work my way into 20 for the indoor season. That felt like a pretty solid release. Another thing I've been thinking about was getting actual in-person instructions. I've been thinking about doing that. Now that I've been shooting for a couple of years, I think the fact that I found shot IQ and knock on and all of that pretty early helped me out a lot with my shot process and doing things correctly, or what is best practices. But I still feel like I got a lot that I could learn, and I think I do have some tweaks to make to my form. watching myself on camera helps a lot because I see what I'm doing and I am thinking about it. But I think having a person that's tweaking as you're shooting would definitely be something that would kind of bring me to that next level. All right, so N6. Let's take a look. I feel like this round is flying by pretty quickly, so that's awesome. Getting in the flow. Slid another 11 in there. Yeah, so I don't think I'd ever get too dedicated to indoor shooting, but I'm definitely interested in doing it a decent amount this year and seeing how I like it. I wish I could justify a whole indoor setup, or at least just some thicker arrows. That was a little bit of a long hold. Felt like it was going to go off and it was just kind of stuck to the middle, and then it kind of floated around a little bit before it went off. So yeah, I don't know if I would need a specific target bow, but what I do want to do is in a couple years, I mean, I'd love to right now or in the next year upgrade to a new hunting bow and then make this more of my 3D setup. For indoor, I'll probably bring back this bow down to 60 again like I did last year. It's so nice pulling back 60 when you're used to 70. It's just effortless. I think I am going to put up the let off. I'm going to bring that down to 80% from 85. And maybe I will look at arrows. It'd be cool to go with some thicker arrows, even if I can just buy 6 of them. That one was to the left. That felt like it was pretty far to the left. But maybe I would even look at pricing out getting 60-pound limbs instead of backing the bolts out. That one felt good. I felt like that was close to the middle. Kind of looking forward to doing indoor and just getting a lot of arrows in just consistently. I don't think I've never scored myself. I don't think I've ever scored myself 20 yards Vegas style. N7, let's check it out. Woo-sa. All right, let's clear my mind a little bit. Let's finish this strong. Sometimes you catch your mind thinking about other stuff when you're in the middle at full draw. I feel like it dropped a little bit on that one. It is crazy how much more steady I can hold it without that quiver, all the extra weight on here. It's like my arm just can lock right in place. But I think getting used to holding that little bit extra weight helps you when your bow is lighter. Round 8. Trying to get these last few ends in before it starts getting too dark. 2 more ends to go. Let's knock them out real quick. Another 10 in there. Those 2 were a little more consistent than I felt, so that was good. Not sure which arrow that was that went high. All right, that was a long one. And I do feel like my anchor was definitely fully off my face on that shot. I don't know if it's more uncomfortable for me to have my foot more like this or more like this. But I can definitely feel sometimes when it just feels off. So I need to isolate that and get more consistent. I'm going to try it like this. That felt like a money shot, and that does feel, so far from that one, that did feel a lot more comfortable facing more like this than like this. And I do like having my stance a little more narrow. I feel like I've always been standing a little wide, standing like in a squat stance. That one felt low. Felt comfortable though. That shot process felt like it was consistent as far as my alignment. Shot just broke when I dipped a little bit. Just got to remember this. Remember this stance. A little more open instead of closed. Dialing it in. Yeah, those 2 arrows. One in the white, one in the black. Not ideal. It's all good though. Not worrying about score today. Kind of am though. Let's just keep this stance consistent. End 10. Let's end it on a strong note. Starting to get a little dark here. Not a lot of light left. That felt like a really good one. It's definitely more comfortable having being a little more open facing this way rather than being a little more like this, pulling through. I think what kind of got me on rotating a little bit this way and shooting was I saw a video, I think, yeah, it was Paige Pierce. She was talking about how she shoots like that. I don't think it works for me though. Obviously, everyone does things differently. Different things work for different people. And I think that's something I've found does not work for me as I've been kind of messing around with it. Yep, definitely starting to get a little tired after the 10 ends. I was floating quite a bit, having trouble. Arm doesn't feel like it's that tired. I think it's part like mental fatigue, concentration. I do have kind of this weird thing where after I'm shooting a lot, it seems like my vision stops being able to focus and it's like almost like my vision goes off the target. And like even though I'm aimed right at it, it's like I can't look at it. It's like it's sliding off. It's really weird. It's hard to explain. That was end 10. So 10 ends at 62 yards, scoring, but more so just kind of assessing my shot process, my technique, my form after a couple months of not shooting as much. Yeah, so my groupings are definitely spreading out as the ends were going on. Not a great round, but not terrible. I think the biggest part is just working on my different form and technique components. I had some good arrows in the middle of the ends. So I was feeling pretty good in the middle. Took me a couple to get dialed in, and then the fatigue started coming mentally and physically in those last few. So I think it's just about getting everything ingrained again. Good 10 ends in, focusing on a couple things that have been throwing myself off. So yeah, that was good. Normally I would do some static holds, but I'm gonna try to get some more quality shooting in the next few days. So I don't want to burn out my arm when I plan on doing a lot of shooting through the weekend. All right, so yeah, it was a fun round. Just kind of working on my different techniques, trying to just get a little more consistent, not worrying so much on score, but I'm always trying to beat past scores, even if I say I'm not. I had some solid ends in the middle of the round. Took me a few to get things dialed in. And then the mental and physical fatigue kind of set in for the last few. Thanks for coming along, watching this range day. Like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one.